So we'll continue the numericals of level 2. First question. Two small spheres of masses 10 kg and 30 kg are joined by a rod of length 0.5 meters, negligible mass. Moment of inertia about the normal axis passing through center of mass. First question, see, two masses are there. First mass 10 kg, second mass 30 kg. These both are joined by a rod of negligible mass. So then these two separated by a distance given. The separation between the two rods given it as 0.5 meters. Can I call first body mass M1? M1 is equal to 10 kg. Second body mass M2. M2 value is equal to 30 kg. Separation between the two bodies is given by 0.5 centimeters. They are asking moment of inertia about an axis passing through the center of mass. So where does the center of mass will coincide? For the system of two particles of unequal masses. Center of mass will be located nearer to particle of heavier mass. Then, so here somewhere center of mass will be there. I want to calculate the moment of inertia about this axis. This is the value of center of mass. To calculate moment of inertia, I need what is the distance of first particle from the center of mass, distance of the second particle from the center of mass. So what is the formula in center of mass is studied? When two particles of masses M1 and M2 separated by distance d. So how can you calculate the distance of each particle from the center of mass? The formulas are given by R1 value is equal to M2 into d divided by M1 plus M2. Correct? Substitute the values. M2 value 30, d value 0.1 divided by M1 plus M2, 30 plus 10, 40. So then what do we get? So R1 value is equal to, which is, so this value will be 15 divided by 40. That is of 3 by 8. Similarly, what is R2? R2 value is equal to formula M1 into D divided by M1 plus M2. Then what I get? M1 value is equal to how much? 10 into D value 0.5 by 40. Then what I get? Simplification 1 by 2. Therefore, now I got R1 value and R2 value. What is the formula for moment of inertia? Product of the mass and the square of the distance from the fixed point. What is the total moment of inertia value? I is equal to I1 plus I2. Correct? I value is equal to I1 plus I2. I1 value M1 R1 square. I2 value M2 R2 square. Right? Then what I get? So M1 value is equal to 10. 10 into R1 square value is equal to how much? 9 by 64. Plus M2 value 30 by 1 by 64. Then what I get? 64 is the LCM. Then here 90 plus here 30. How much total answer? 120 by 64. What is 120 by 64 value? Very close to 2. So that is of 1.875. Units kilogram per meter square. Question understood? See, this moment of inertia is related with that center of mass. Okay, this is the question number first one. So next question. Question number third. So what is this question is? Four particles each of mass 1 kg are at four corners of a square of side 1 meter. Moment of inertia of the system about a normal axis through the center of the square. One square given. Four particles are located at four corners. Each particle mass of 1 kg. So all are of mass same 1 kg. They are asking us to calculate what is the moment of inertia about the center normal to plane and passing through center. About the normal axis through the center. So from the center all particles are equal distance. First the distance is value. Here M1 value is equal to M2 value is equal to M3 value is equal to M4 value. All are same. Will be of 1 kg. Their distance is also same. So R1 is equal to R2 is equal to R3 is equal to R4. So what is the distance? So it is a square. This total distance value root 2L. So this distance value half of the root 2L. Then what I get? L by root 2. What is square? Side given 1 meter. So 1 by root 2. Therefore, what is the total moment of inertia? Total moment of inertia, if I want to calculate, that is the sum of moment of inertia of all the which particles? 4 particles. So moment of inertia, how to find the total moment of inertia? By adding the moment of inertia of each and every particle. Which addition? Scalar addition. Then what I get? All are same here. I1, I2, I3, I4 are same because mass is same, distance same. So what I get? 4 into, so I value 4 into m r square. Can I call this total mass as m? Total distance as r. 4 into m r square. Correct? I1 value m r square, m r square, m r square, m r square. 4 into m into r square. They given mass is 4 into 1. So r square value given by 1 by root 2 whole square. That is 1 by 2. So answer is given by 2 kilogram meter square. Understood now? So that is the total moment of inertia. This is question number 3rd. So next one. Question number 5th one. So what is this question is? Two discs having the same mass and thickness. Their materials of densities d1 and d2. What is the ratio of their moment of inertia? Two circular discs are given. This is one circular disc. This is one circular disc. Both densities are given. First disc density d1, second disc density d2. Their masses are same. They given. m1 value is equal to m2. Mass is also same. Thickness also same. Mass is equal to density into volume. Can I write d1 into volume is v1, d2 into volume is v2. What is circular disc volume formula? Area into thickness. Pi into, can I write r1 square into t. Here d2 into pi into r2 square into t. T value, pi value cancel. Then what I get the answer of r1 square by r2 square will be equal to d2 by d2. What they now asking what is the ratio of their moment of inertia? What is I1 by I2? I1 by I2 value is equal to, so I1 by I2 formula m into r1 square divided by m into r2 square. Circular disc na? Circular disc means I will get mr square by 2. 2 to cancel, mm cancel. So what I got I1 by I2 value is equal to r1 by r2 whole square. But we got r1 by r2 value is equal to d2 by d2. Therefore, I1 by I2 ratio will be equal to how much? d2 divided by d2. Understood? So this is the question number 5th. Here the given condition is what? Masses are same. Next question. So question number 6th. So what about the 6th question is? The moment of inertia of a cylinder about its own axis is equal to moment of inertia about an axis passing through center and normal to the length. What is the ratio of length to radius? Cylinder. Here they not mentioned which cylinder. Then we need to take it as hollow solid cylinder. One solid cylinder. It is its natural axis. And this is the axis passing through center perpendicular to length. The moment of inertia about this axis can I call I1, this axis can I call I2. What is solid cylinder moment of inertia about its natural axis formula? That is given by mr square by 2. What is the solid cylinder moment of inertia about an axis perpendicular to length passing through center formula? M into, so r square by 4 plus L square by 12. In given question, so what they given is I1 value is equal to I2. Can I equate them? Then what I get? mr square by 2 will be equal to m into, so this is the value of r square by 4 plus L square by 12. So m value cancel. Then what I get? L square by 12 is equal to r square by 2 minus r square by 4. Then what I get? L square by 12 is equal to LCM is 4. So 2 2s are 2r square minus r square, that is r square. 4 1s are 4 3s are. So what I will get? L square by r square will be equal to 3. What is L by r is equal to? L by r value is equal to root 3 by 1. So what is the ratio? Root 3 is to 1. That is the ratio which was ratio of length to radius. So L by R ratio is root 3 is to 1. Okay na? So to do this chapter I told you the tabular column what we have discussed. The moment of inertia of each and every body that you need to. You have to remember that. Okay? So this is question number 6. Next question. Question number 8. So what is this question is? 3 identical rings each of mass m, radius r, placed at the same plane, touching each other. 3 identical rings are given. This is one ring, here one ring, here one ring. So all are touching each other such that the centers form vertices of the equilateral triangle. Centers forming vertices of an equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangle of side value how much? Distance between the two centers, no 2r. Side value will be of 2r. The moment of inertia of the system about an axis passing through center of one of the ring and perpendicular to plane. They are asking moment of inertia. Let me consider this is first one, first ring, second ring, third ring. Moment of inertia I want to calculate about this ring center. If I want to calculate the total moment of inertia I, that is sum of moment of inertia due to first ring and due to second ring and due to third ring. So whereas to calculate the moment of inertia about the second ring and third ring, which theorem I need to apply? I know moment of inertia about this axis. I want to calculate the moment of inertia about this axis. So I need to apply parallel axis theorem. I2 value is equal to I3 value is equal to what is parallel axis theorem? IC plus m into d square. Correct? IC value moment of inertia of the circular ring about an axis passing through, here they given circular ring only, no? So passing through center formula m r square plus m into what is the distance between these two axes. Here one axis is there, so we cannot show this, means it is perpendicular to plane. Now m into d square value 2r whole square. Correct? What is the perpendicular distance value? 2r whole square. 4 mr square plus mr square. 5 mr square. Now tell me how can I get total moment of inertia? I1 value moment of inertia of the first ring about an axis passing through center perpendicular to plane. So that value will be mr square. Mr square plus I2 value 5 mr square plus I3 value 5 mr square. What is the total answer I get? So total answer is given by 11 into mr square. Understood? Which option? Fourth option. Question clear now? Circular ring देंगे. So this is question number 8. Next question. Question number 10th one. So what is the question they given is? A straight thin uniform rod of length 4l, mass 4m is bent into the square. What is the moment of inertia about 1m? One rod is there. Rod length value 4l. Rod mass given 4m. It was now bent in the form of one square. When it is bent in the form of square means what about the each length value side? L. Each mass value also m. Then what they are asking the moment of inertia of the square about one side. So this is the axis. Now I want to calculate the moment of inertia with respect to this one, first side, second one, third. Correct? Because moment of inertia about this fourth side will be 0. How can I calculate the total moment of inertia? I1 plus I2 plus I3. In this I1 and I3 are the moment of inertia of the rod about which axis? This is the rod. So this is the axis about its tangential axis, perpendicular length and tangential. We know uniform rod about an axis passing through center ml square by 12. About a tangent formula ml square by 3. So answer is m into l square by 3. Whereas I1 value, that is the I2 value, this one. What is the distance between these two? This one, l. So I2 value is equal to m into l square. Correct? How much? M into l square. Then what do we get? Ml square. So ml square by which one? The moment of inertia of the rod about which axis? I want to calculate for the side. So second side, so that is the value of L. What is the moment of inertia? Moment of inertia of the rod. Here what will be the answer? That is of ml square by how much of? Ml square by 3. Moment of inertia of this one. What is the distance of the second side from this axis will be given by, that is L. Then moment of inertia about which axis? About a parallel axis. About a parallel axis, what will get ml square plus ml square by 3, 4 ml square. So here ml square plus, what is the answer here is parallel axis theorem can I apply? Moment of inertia of the rod. This is the axis of rotation. Here the rod is there. I want to calculate it, so this distance. Moment of inertia of the rod about an axis. About an axis. Here what I will get after simplification. So I will get the answer of ml square by 2 ml square plus distance value L, moment of inertia if I take m into L square, length value will be equal to L square only. If I take m into L square only, correct? Here I need to consider the total mass m. This distance value L, the height value m into L square. Now what will be total I value? I1 plus I2 plus I3. So I1 value ml square by 3 plus ml square by plus ml square I2 value plus ml square by 3. Then what will get I value? This is 2 into ml square by 3 plus ml square. LCM is 3. Then what will get I value? I value is equal to, so 3, here 3 plus 2, 5. 5 into ml square divided by 3. See calculation, moment of inertia calculation. Here because axis of rotation, it is neither perpendicular and non-passing through tangent. That time I get to consider the total mass. What is the distance of this mass from the fixed point here? Then what is the moment of inertia? Understood? So this is the question number 10. Next question. Question number 12. So what is this question is? Two circular rings of equal mass and radius placed touching each other. The moment of inertia of the system about a tangential axis in its plane passing through point of contact of the rings. What they given is two circular rings are given. These two circular rings are touching each other. So two circular rings that touching each other. Same mass, same radius. Both masses are same, m. Both radius is also same, r. They asking us to calculate what is the moment of inertia about a tangential axis to the two circular rings. Total moment of inertia due to first ring and due to second ring, I1 plus I2. What is circular ring moment of inertia about a tangential axis? Circular ring. About an axis passing through center perpendicular to plane. And what is the axis they are telling? About an axis in the plane. Now I want to calculate moment of inertia of the circular ring about its diameter. Diameter is in the plane. Now about a tangential axis. So I was given by about the diameter circular ring mr square by 2 plus mr square. So what will get the answer is done by, which is 3 by 2 into mr square. Right? This is moment of inertia of the circular ring about a tangent in the plane. I1 value, I2 value, both values are same. So what I get? 3 by 2 mr square plus 3 by 2 mr square. So totally what I get the answer? So 3 by 2, 3 by 2, that is 3 mr square. This is the total moment of inertia. Understood now? Circular ring. Axis of rotation is very important. About which axis you want to calculate. So that point is very important. This is question number 12. Next question. So what about this question is, if the mass of the ring, this is the question based on law of conservation of angular momentum. We discussed this concept. Mass of the rectangle radius suddenly become 2 times and 1 by 4 times. So what happened to the value of length of the day becomes how much? So now actually what happened? And according to law of conservation of angular momentum. According to which law? Law of, right, shortcut, law of conservation of angular momentum. Here no external torque is acting. L value remains constant. L value means I into omega remains constant. Omega value 2 pi by t. So that is I by t is constant. Whenever no external torque is acting, if tau is equal to 0, then I by t is constant. Then what can I write? I1 by t1 is equal to I2 by t2. Right? So what I mean t2 by t1 is equal to t2 by t1 value is equal to I1 divided by I2. Correct? So what is I1 value? If I consider Earth as a solid sphere, 2 by 5 into m1 into r1 square. Solid sphere moment of inertia. By. So this is I1 by I2. Here I call it t2 by t1, then I need to write I2 by I1. So which is the value? m2 r2 square by 2 by 5 into m1 into r1 square. Right? Now what I will get t2 by t1? t2 by t1 value is equal to 2 by 5 cancel. So m2 by m1 into, what about here the value? r2 by r1 whole square. But they given here m2 is equal to 2 into m1 and r2 is equal to r1 by 4. Correct? Then what I will get? t2 by t1? t2 by t1 value is equal to m2 by m1 value 2 by, so r2 by r1 value is equal to how much? r2 by r1 is equal to 1 by 4. So that is into 1 by 16. So 2 1s are 2 8s are. Then what will get? t2 is equal to t1 divided by 8. So what is t1? 24 hours. Correct? So t2 divided by 1 more here cancel na, 2 1s are 2 2. It mass of the Earth and radius suddenly become 2 times and 1 by 4 times. 1 by 4 only. So there is no other alternative. Divide by how much? Divide by 8. So t1 is 24 hours by 8. So then what I get answer is how? 8 1s are 8 3s are. 8 1s are 8 3s are. So t2 value will become 3 hours. Understood? This is according to law of conservation of angular momentum. And that's all for this class. The remaining questions will continue in the next class. Thank you. Welcome you all for the Google online classes. So we are discussing rotational motion under the system of particles and rotational motion. Last 3 classes we have finished. So some concepts related with this rotational motion. So still some more points are there. We will discuss that point in this class. Then we will start the numericals of level 2. Okay? So then next one is, what is the topic we will discuss is rolling motion of a body. A rolling motion of a body or rolling motion without slipping on horizontal surface. On horizontal surface. Whenever a body executing rolling motion without slipping on a horizontal surface. Okay? So let us see. So let me consider one wheel. This wheel is rolling on this horizontal surface. Okay? So it is executing the rolling motion. So rolling motion is a combination of both translation and rotation motion. So that's why particle will have 2 types of velocities. Both translation velocity will be there and so which one? Linear velocity also, that rotation velocity also will be there. Generally we have studied the concept of center of mass. So whenever a body executing rolling motion, center of mass will describe the actual translation characteristics of the rigid body. So when I consider the any point, so let us suppose this is the center of mass. Uniform mass distribution. So center of mass coincide with the geometry in the center. Let me consider 2 points. One is A and other is B. So A is the lowest point, the point of contact of body with the ground, whereas B is the highest point. And so middle point is the center of mass. You consider anywhere. So if I consider here, so A is the center, point of contact with the ground, and B is the highest point. If I consider any other particle of this rigid body, of this rolling body, so then particle will have two velocities coming. One is the velocity due to linear motion, and other is the velocity due to rotational motion. Then we can calculate the resultant velocity. Two components of velocity will be there. So rotational motion velocity, translation motion velocity, so that is given by, can I call it as VC, V and V1, and rotational motion velocity can I call V2. So then we can calculate the resultant velocity. At any point, we will have two components of velocity, translation motion of velocity and rotational motion of velocity. Generally, what is the condition for the body to roll without any slipping means the velocity of the body which is in contact with the ground should be at rest zero. For rolling without any slipping, condition what? The point of contact of the body with the ground should be in the state of rest. Then only the body will roll without any slipping. What does it mean? The condition is given by what? VA should be equal to 0. But when I consider VA, it has two components of velocities. I told you now. So translation component of velocity given by, that is translational motion will be represented by center of mass. If I call the velocity of center of mass is VCM, then the one more component of velocity will be given by, so it is moving in a circular path. When it is coming in like this particle is moving like this means, how can I find out the direction of the linear velocity in a circular motion? By drawing a triangle. So this is the value which one now VR. So this is the value of VR. For VA will be equal to 0 means VA is the sum of which one? VCM bar plus VR. Correct? Both should be equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. Then only VA value will be equal to 0. So what does it mean? VCM value is equal to V into which one? R. What is VR? If I call this V of radius value R, small r, then VR value given by, so VCM is equal to VR. VR value R into omega. Understood? If this wheel is rotating with the angular velocity omega, so then we can write the relation between the linear velocity and angular velocity. That velocity will be given by V is equal to R omega. So two components of velocities are equal and opposite. So due to that reason, what happened? So VCM value will be equal to how much? R into omega. And what about the velocity of the highest point? Highest point. So body rolling like this now. So what is the direction of the velocity of center of mass? VCM bar. Translation velocity. And rotational velocity also. So tangent drawn in the direction of R. So that is also given by VR. How VR bar and VCM bar both are in same direction. Then what is the velocity of highest point? Velocity of highest point can I call it as VB bar. So VB bar value is equal to VCM bar plus VR. Correct? But we know that what is VCM bar value is equal to VCM value is equal to R into omega. So VR value also equal to how much? R into omega. Therefore, what I get VB value? VB is equal to 2 into R into omega. Right? 2 into R into omega. That is what the velocity for a body to roll without any slipping. The velocity of point of contact of the body with the ground is 0, and velocity at highest point will be equal to 2 into R omega. If this R omega, if I call it as V, then what happened to VB? VB value is equal to 2V. And what happened to VA? VA value equal to 0. Understood now? Always remember, for the body to roll down without any slipping, the point of contact of the body with the ground should be equal to 0. And the velocity of the body at highest point will be equal to 2 into V. If I call V is the velocity of center of mass, then velocity at highest point will be equal to 2 into V. Understood now? Then let us see. I want to calculate the rolling kinetic energy. Rolling kinetic energy. Last class we discussed regarding rotational kinetic energy. Whenever a body executing rotational motion, it having kinetic energy. That is called as rotational kinetic energy. But whenever a body executing rolling motion, it has two components or two types of kinetic energies. One is the translational kinetic energy, and other is the rotational kinetic energy. Then total rolling kinetic energy will be sum of translational kinetic energy plus rotational kinetic energy. Translational kinetic energy will be expressed in terms of velocity of center of mass 1 by 2 into v cm square. And what about the rotational kinetic energy given by last class? 1 by 2 into I into omega square. What is omega? Omega is the angular velocity, I is the moment of inertia. Then which can be also written as 1 by 2 into m into vcm square plus 1 by 2 into can write I into omega value can write vcm by r whole square, vcm square divided by r square. Since what is the reason? vcm is equal to r into omega. Then what happened to omega value? vcm divided by r. Correct? Then what I will get? This is the expression for total kinetic energy. So can I take in both the terms 1 by 2 into m into vcm square common? When I take 1 by 2 into m into, but m where? Here m not there. So here can I put m value before this? Can I substitute the value of I also, which is equal to 1 by 2 into, so what I will get, the here value will be equal to, this is the value of 1 by 2 into I into omega square. In place of omega square I written vcm by r. Then I got the answer 1 by 2 into I into, so this is the value. Then m into vcm square plus 1 by 2 into, in place of I, can I write m into k square? What is k? Radius of direction into what? vcm square divided by what? r square. Now can I take the common of 1 by 2 into m into vcm square? Then what is left given by 1 plus here? Here what is there? K square divided by how much of r square. So this is the expression for rolling kinetic energy. Whenever a body executing rolling motion, the total kinetic energy is given by 1 by 2 into m into vcm square into 1 plus k square divided by r square, where k is called as radius of gyration. Radius of gyration is the perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation to fixed point, where total mass is supposed to be constant. Understood? So this total kinetic energy will be the combination of which energy? Both translation kinetic energy and also rotational kinetic energy. Then what is the fraction of kinetic energy associated with the translational motion? Which one I want to calculate? Fractional kinetic energy associated with the translational motion. That is nothing but so translation kinetic energy divided by total kinetic energy. Correct? Translation kinetic energy means 1 by 2 m square by which one? Total kinetic energy. I will get the answer 1 by 1 plus k square by r square. After simplification, I will write directly. This formula is very important for doing numerical force. Similarly, what is the fraction of kinetic energy? Fractional kinetic energy associated with the rotational motion. So fraction of kinetic energy associated with the rotational motion means that is rotational kinetic energy divided by rolling kinetic energy. So after simplification we get 1 by 1 plus r square by k square. Understood on these 2 points? How to calculate translation kinetic energy and rotational kinetic energy. So after completion of this, okay, now here the body is moving on a horizontal surface. The last point related with this rolling motion is if the body is sliding down from the inclined plane. So this case is very important. So what is this case is? Rolling without slipping down the inclined plane. Rough only. Inclined plane. Smooth means I will mention. So not mentioned means what does it mean? It is rough inclined plane. A body rolling down from the rough inclined plane. So let us see. So let us consider one inclined plane. The inclined plane of angle of inclination theta. The inclined plane of height value h. The inclined plane of length value let me consider one cylinder or sphere. It is rolling down, started rolling down from the top of the inclined plane. So let me call the top of the inclined plane value A and reaching the wire B. Let us see what are the forces acting on the body when it is rolling down, rolling here. Particles are executing both translation motion and also rotation motion. So now body rolling down. In order to roll down, so what are the forces acting on the body? Let us check. Its weight given by mg. So weight is resolved into two components. What are the components are given by? So normal force is given by mg cos theta. Mg cos theta balanced by normal reaction n. And unbalanced force is given by mg sin theta. Mg sin theta force will provide acceleration for the body to slide down. That is translational acceleration given by mg into sin theta. So to execute the translation motion, mg sin theta is reason. But in order to rotate, torque is reason. So who will provide the torque? Here torque because of the weight will be 0. Because torque is a product of force and perpendicular distance. Force and perpendicular distance. Perpendicular distance of what? So line of action of force from the fixed point. When I consider mg, so mg acting from where? Center. What is the distance value? 0. So that's why mg will not provide any torque. Similarly, mg cos theta also acting from the center. Perpendicular distance is 0. It also will not provide any torque. So torque is provided by only frictional force. If I call the frictional force value Fs, so torque is provided by frictional force value Fs into perpendicular distance value from the fixed point will be equal to r. So then tau value will be equal to Fs into r. Clear? So torque is provided by which force? Frictional force. Now you tell me what is the net translation force acting on the body given by mg sin theta acting downward direction minus Fs. So which one can I write as m into a dash? A dash value is equal to mg into sin theta. Mg into sin theta minus Fs value. So what happened to a dash value? A dash is equal to g into sin theta minus Fs divided by what? M. Can I call it as equation 1? So what is equation 1? What is the acceleration with which the body is sliding down? So acceleration value can I write? This one I will call it as A only. Then this is the value of A. Now you see what is the torque we got? Tau is equal to Fs into R. Correct? But we know tau is equal to I alpha. I alpha is equal to Fs into R. So alpha value is equal to Fs divided by Fs into R divided by I. We know this A is equal to R into alpha. Alpha value is equal to A by R. A by R is equal to Fs into R divided by I. Since what is the reason? The reason here is relation between the linear acceleration and angular acceleration. What is the relation? A value is equal to R into alpha. Then what can I write? Alpha A by R. Fs into R divided by I. Then from this, what is the value of Fs? Fs value is equal to A into I divided by how much? A into I divided by, so R square divided by R square. Can I write Fs value is equal to, so A into I value can I write M into R square, M into K square, radius of gyration K square by R square. Can I write? Now can I substitute this Fs value in equation 1? So after substitution, what I get? A value. This is 2. Substitute which one? Substitute equation 2 in 1. We will get the which value? A value. So what is A value? A is equal to G into sin theta minus Fs value how much? A into M into K square divided by, so M into R square. M value cancel. So can I set the data A this side? Then final expression we get A value is equal to G into sin theta divided by 1 plus K square divided by R square. This is the expression for acceleration. Acceleration of what? A body sliding down from the inclined plane. So what is that? Rolling down or not sliding down. So rolling down from the inclined plane, acceleration is given by A is equal to G into sin theta by 1 plus K square by R square, which can be also written as A value is equal to G into sin theta divided by 1 plus beta. So in place of what I written beta, since here we consider beta is k square by r square. Okay na? K square by r square. This is the expression for acceleration of a particle which is rolling down from the from the inclined plane. After calculation of acceleration value, now let me calculate two more points. So what is the frictional force value and what is the velocity with which the body reaches to the bottom and what is the time taken to reach the bottom. So last 3 points are related with this. How can I calculate the frictional force? So frictional force already there, we have the formula. Fs value is equal to how much? A into m into k square by r square, right? If I substitute the value of A, g into sin theta divided by na. So after simplification, what I will get is g into sin theta into beta, this value beta divided by 1 plus beta. So this is the expression for frictional force acting on the body. For the body to roll, so roll down, rolling without any slipping, without a slipping, condition is what is, in order to roll down without slipping, the frictional force value is there na static friction. It should be less than or equal to limiting friction. The frictional force value should be less than or equal to limiting friction. First I will call Fs. So Fs value how much? G into sin theta into beta divided by 1 plus beta is less than or equal to Fl value is equal to mu s into n. N value is equal to mg cos theta. Mg cos theta. So okay na? Which is Fs value is equal to how much we got? This is m into g. M also there na? M into g. So here also I need to write mg. Then here mg value cancel. For the body to roll down without any slipping, mu s value should be greater than or equal to sin theta by cos theta tan theta into beta divided by 1 plus beta. This is the condition for the body to roll without any slipping. If the body to roll without any slipping, if this coefficient of friction value is this much, then what happened to the body? The body will roll without any slipping. Otherwise, what happens? The body will slip out. So last 2 points are, what is the velocity with which the body reaches to the bottom? So velocity at the bottom. From the inclined plane body sliding, rolling, velocity at the bottom. To calculate the velocity at the bottom, so it is from where the body falling from here, now reaching to here. So this point if I call A, this point can I call B. Can I apply the law of conservation of energy? EA value is equal to EB. At A, body initially at rest, it having only potential energy. At B, body is in motion, it having only kinetic energy. Which kinetic energy? Rolling kinetic energy. So rolling kinetic energy given by 1 by 2 into m into VCM square into 1 plus k square by r square. Clear? So m value cancel. What is the answer for VCM? VCM value is equal to root over, so 2 into g into h divided by 1 plus k square by r square. This is the expression for velocity of the body at the bottom of the inclined plane. So last point is, what is the time taken by the body to reach the bottom? All points are important. See, in all expressions we are getting the term k. K is the radius of gyration. To calculate the k value, compulsory it is must and should to know. So which was the moment of inertia of the bodies? Moment of inertia of the body. Then let us see time taken to reach the bottom. Time taken to reach bottom. How much time the body has taken to reach the bottom? So body rolling down from the inclined plane. This angle theta, this value h. So time taken to reach means if I call the length of the inclined plane value is equal to L, then can I apply the motion is uniformly accelerated motion, general equations of motion I can apply. So what is the velocity of the body? We know. VCM value we know. Time taken is given by the formula. Can I use the formula S is equal to ut plus half into AD square, where S is the length of the inclined plane, initially body at rest, plus half into A value how much? g into sin theta divided by 1 plus k square by r square into how much over t square. Then we can calculate the t value. T is equal to, so root over 2 into L divided by g into sin theta into 1 plus k square divided by r square. Understood? So but here sin theta value is equal to h by L. So then what can I write? L value is equal to h divided by sin theta. In terms of h, what can I write? T value is equal to sin theta sin square theta. So 1 sin theta will come outside into root over 2 into h divided by g into 1 plus k square by r. Understood? This is the expression for time taken in terms of height. This is the expression for time taken in terms of length. Two formulas are there. So okay, whenever a body only sliding means what happened to k value 0. That time the answer will get root over 2h. Okay na? So this is the formula for time taken to body to reach the bottom of the integral. And these are about the concepts of rotation motion. Okay, go through the concepts clearly. Then now we will start numericals, exercise questions of this chapter 11. Okay, so let us start.